Like listening to Toxic Radio?
Goddamn right.
Well, don't forget, this is the 21st century. Join us in the social media world. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pornhub.
Pornhub?
Ah, just kidding. Or am I? Toxic Radio. Get infected. Got an idea for a podcast and think you have the talent to make it a reality? Already have a podcast, but been thinking you could take it up a notch, but you're just not sure how to do it? Well, Toxic Entertainment has everything you need to go from podcasting to podcasting. Bring us your talent, your passion, and your best ideas. We'll bring to the table our state-of-the-art technology and comfortable facility, creative and professional staff dedicated to bringing your ideas to life, competitively priced packages to suit your goals and budget, and over 10 years of experience as a leader in the podcasting field. Toxic Entertainment offers quality and affordability that can't be beat. When you're ready to start your journey, Toxic Entertainment is here to help you reach your destination. Learn more at toxicentertainment.net or call 888-66-TOXIC to arrange a studio tour. That's 888-66-86942. Toxic Entertainment, where creativity meets passion. Hey, buddy. Brah. Hey, man, that's a sweet heavy metal happy hour t-shirt. Where'd you pick that up?
Thanks, dude. I got it at the Toxic Radio shop.
Toxic Radio has a shop?
Yeah, dude. It's in the app or online at toxicradio.net.
That is sweet.
Yeah, and I also got a rockin' Toxic Radio hoodie and a Red Band Underground shirt. Dude, I'm gonna look so rockin' at the party tomorrow.
Well, I think you look pretty now.
Oh, Wait, what?
The Toxic Radio shop is the place to get all your Toxic Radio gear. Shirts, hoodies, stickers. Find it at toxicradio.net or on the app. Don't buy it safe. Buy it toxic. Hey, where you going, man?
What's up, everyone? It is that time for Birds Deep back-to-back because it's draft. Next week is the draft. Eagles got a lot of picks, a lot going on, and we want to watch it, and we're pretty sure you want to watch it too. So we're going to talk about it, and then we're all going to watch it next week, and then talk about it after that because that just makes sense, right? I'm here, the Godfrey, THEE, GODFREY, and to my left here, I got Gene.
Whoa! Gene.
That's right. So, we got a lot to talk about. Deebo Samuel's on the trade block. Kyler Murray is on the trade block. There's another receiver on the trade block. That's right. A.J. Brown, I hear a deal's getting done, though, right?
We'll see. We will see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Who else? Who else is on? There's another receiver on the trade block. Oh, McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin. They won't be trading him to us, though.
No, that's not going to happen. I would love that. I would love that for to happen.
I don't.
You wouldn't like Terry McLaurin?
I want to talk about the wide receivers. I really do. I want to talk about the wide receivers, too.
I get where you're going with this, and I have of the same school of thought but I think I know why. But
you cannot give 10% of your cap to wide receiver one. It just can't happen. Christian Kirk got overpaid, and it set the wide receiver market out insane.
Well, part of the reason they overpaid is because they had to overpay to get him to come to fucking Jacksonville.
I understand, but then other receivers were like, well, Christian Kirk got this, and I'm a lot better than Christian Kirk, so I should get this. Tyreek Hill got $30 million. Devontae Adams got $27 million. You can't do that. Listen, mark my words. No team ever will pay 10% of their cap to wide receiver one and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't disagree there, and that's
that means 90% of your cap is split between the other 51 starting players, 51 players.
If the NFL was like baseball with money, go get him, go get Deebo, right? But that's not the case.
There's a salary cap,
right? And Deebo's great, and he's great for your fantasy team, and he's great for your team. I would ask, are you confident that Nick Sirianni can scheme him like Kyle Shanahan can? That's a legitimate question.
No.
Right. So we haven't seen anything that could indicate to yes, right? So even with that being said, I know he's an incredible talent, but this is what I like to call a Madden fever dream, because you have to be hallucinating to think that they're going to have to give up draft capital to get him. And so I would only do it if you could give up next to nothing for him, which won't happen.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say the money meant nothing at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to give up a first-round draft pick to get Deebo Samuel. You can have Deebo Samuel for 2 years. We'll just assume that he played. They signed him to an extension, and it's worth 2 years. Or you can have one of these receivers for 5 years. That's coming out in this draft. Treylon Burks, Jahan Dotson,
right.
Jamison Williams. What do you choose?
I'm gonna go with the young guy.
And that's my point. So, like, you have essentially, I loved it, by the way. I love the thought process of you essentially having a young receiving core that are all on rookie deals. And you can spend your money elsewhere.
Look, if you do find that blue chip quarterback, the money's going to your O-line, your D-line, and your quarterback. I mean, the Chiefs, I think, are ahead of the game by trading Tyreek Hill for the haul they got for him. Great player, awesome player. Speed guy. He's probably going to be on the downside of his career in a couple years, and I don't have anything against it. But at the same time, if you have a good enough system, I think you can have guys that are above average receivers that are athletic that can play well for you, or you got to get them on a cheap contract. Deebo Samuel, part of the problem is I'll give you a stat that's pretty damning. 31 games out of possible 49 games played, is not including the playoffs, is where he's at. Last year, if I'm the 49ers and I'm the GM, I wish GMs would just come out and say this shit sometimes, but I guess they can't. I'd be like, look, this is why we're not signing Deebo to a long-term deal. I want him to show me he can give me 14 games 2 years in a row. Now, you say, I heard rumors that Deebo was playing more, he wasn't pushing through injuries and it wasn't resulting in more long-term injuries for him being out. But part of his issue is he's getting used more as a running back. And if that's the case, his plateau is going to be quick.
It'll be shorter.
Right.
Which is why he wants to get paid now, and I understand what he's doing.
I don't blame him for it.
Some dope team's going to do it.
Yeah.
San Fran won't be that team.
Yeah, and, they won't be that team. And I understand. I totally get why Deebo's doing it. I get why A.J. Brown wanted a deal. They were later picks. I get why Terry McLaurin wants a deal, too. That you have a window. But Deebo especially, and on this team, he's going to get used like that if he was on this team because we run the ball a lot because we have our quarterback situation, at least in this year. It's a nice thought, but it just doesn't make any sense. I'd rather have a Treylon Burks that is DK Deebo-esque that's on a controllable deal with a fifth-year option.
Correct.
And take a shot on that, especially, you got to have – that's not the way to build where the Eagles are at right now. Giving up draft capital and putting out a large number of your cap isn't the way to go. Just isn't.
You cannot spend 10% of your cap on wide receiver one. That's 1 out of 52 players. Listen, let's just make it even a little bit more fun. You're in the top 5, top 10 teams in football. Last 5 years, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some of them. Name a few.
Chiefs, top 5.
Chiefs had Patrick Mahomes on a rookie deal and Tyreek Hill on a rookie deal.
Yeah.
Next.
5th round rookie deal for Tyreek Hill for at least the first couple.
Next.
Yeah, I mean, and they drafted well. I mean, 5th round. I mean, that's because Tyreek Hill is a shitbag, and that's why he went in the 5th round.
Mike said the Eagles. The Eagles have not paid a top 5 quarterback or a top 5 wide receiver. And I don't want to hear the Carson Wentz thing because it's not. He didn't even get into the portion of his contract where he's getting paid. But they didn't. They literally had Carson Wentz on a rookie deal in 2017 when they won. Who's next? Tom Brady is the 15th highest paid quarterback in the league, and he's the best quarterback in the league. He understands you cannot pay people that type of money and win football. Who's next?
Yeah, Tom Brady. That's why he's the GOAT.
Do you remember how good Seattle was? You know when Seattle got bad? When they paid Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Want to know why?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't pay the rest of their defense.
That's true, too. And part of the reason they were good is Russell was, what, a third-rounder when he got picked?
Yes, rookie deal.
Sherman,
all that money
Sherman
everywhere
was a
else.
fifth-rounder.
Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas was a first rounder.
Yeah, I mean, so they hit on some big-time draft picks in later rounds where, yeah.
But the Eagles did too. The Eagles hit on Jason Kelsey, Jordan Mailata. They're hitting on late draft picks in which they are getting value for their players. They locked up Mailata early. That was a genius contract. I hate calling Howie a genius, but that's good stuff. You cannot pay Tyreek Hill $30 million and win.
No, you
It's
can't.
not going to happen.
And, you know, I get that you got the guy that came from the school of Shanahan to scheme it properly, but, you know, he's not the GM. He's not doing the salary cap. And
Let me ask you a question. Would you rather trade for Deebo or Kyler?
oof, you want? Oh man, well, Kyler's going to cost a lot more than Deebo, I would assume.
He was your quarterback. Pay Kyler Murray $40 million a year.
I mean,
That's what he's going to get.
yeah. I mean, are you saying him versus Deebo?
Who would you rather pay? Deebo 30 or Kyler 40?
I mean, I'm not a fan of Kyler Murray, as you know, but at the quarterback position, it makes more sense.
100%.
You know, it just does. It just makes more sense. He's got great. Kyler Murray's got great athletic skills. He's a really good athlete. Two-sport athlete. I believe was he? I know he's a first-round pick, but what is he in a high first-round pick, like top 10?
Talking about Kyler?
Yeah.
Kyler was the 6th overall pick for the Oakland A's.
Okay, so top 10 baseball pick as
Yeah.
well. So he's a very talented guy. In fact, I would like to see him not play football and come play center field for the Philadelphia Phillies. But,
I mean, he would be better than anybody would have.
but that's that's a different show. You talk about the Phillies on.
Mike says they're all overpaid. Yes, not really. You know who's overpaid? The owners, if we're being honest about it.
Oh, the owners are overpaid. Don't even get me started on the owners of the NFL. The sports teams in general, the rich guys that use these teams as tax pass-throughs, and the Bills getting $860 million from the state is ridiculous.
Like, how much do you think they should be paid, Mike? I love that argument. I would love to have that debate with you one day. I feel like we don't have enough time to do it today. But like, how much money do you think a professional athlete should get paid? And like, when I say that, and I don't mean this to be smart, but your entire life is under scrutiny.
Right.
You're yelled at, like your social media. You have to have a private life for everything. You can't go to a local diner. You just can't do that stuff. Like, you gotta get, and not to mention, your body has got to be your temple. You have to work on yourself all the time.
That's true, and it's a grueling game.
You have to subject yourself to massive amounts of testing.
It's a grueling game, and
So I don't.
The injury thing is tough.
You kill your life 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, I don't think football players are overpaid.
No.
I think a lot of baseball players are overpaid.
I mean,
but
once again, they play 162 games.
They do play a lot of games. I think some NBA players are overplayed, but
that's probably the most overrated sport. If I like
NBA
overrated,
right now?
Overpaid sport.
Yeah, I agree. It's too far. The players
Russell Westbrook got $48 million this year to stink.
Ridiculous. That sport's
To stink.
too far to the players, and it needs to come a little bit back toward the middle. I think, as much as I like watching playoff basketball.
You know where basketball ends up winning? You only have to split up the money 12 ways instead of 52, instead of 26.
Right.
You're only splitting it up 12 ways because there's only 12 active players on a roster. And your 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th guys get nothing anyway. So you're really only splitting it up 8 ways.
I mean, every time Tobias Harris goes to the bank, he's got a Lone Ranger mask on. I mean, that
he's actually played really well this playoff.
Yes.
But let's get back to the Eagles.
You talk about that
Kyler
more
Deebo.
on Wire to Wire on Wednesdays at
Look at
8:30.
you plugging us. I appreciate that.
No problem. Yeah, Kyler Murray. Are we back to Kyler Murray, son?
Kyler Murray or Deebo Samuel?
I mean,
40 million for Kyler or 30 for Deebo?
I'm going to go Kyler, even though I'm not a fan of him, but it makes more sense to make that move and take a shot on him if you're going to do something like that. Because, what you're saying is, hey, we know how Kyler is. We've heard the reports, but we can make him work here if you're going to make that move in your team. We can make him work in our organization. I'm
a fan of Kyler's talent.
He needs a strong coaching personality.
I think Kyler needs an Uncle Phil in his life.
Yeah, he needs a strong coaching personality. I don't know if Sirianni's that coach. He needs a coach that has to say,
you're not going to show up your teammates. You're not going to be an asshole.
hey, you sucked on that play. He needs some Bill Parcells in his life.
You're not going to point at wide receivers. Like, you're not going to do that. That's what Kyler Murray does.
My nickname for him is Mini J Cutler right now. So. He doesn't smoke cigs, but,
Smoking Jay.
Smoking Jay. Well, the pouty face. Maybe not the same person overall. It's just the pouty face. That's all. The pouty face he makes when he gets hit. And that's why I think if he doesn't get the deal he wants and the Cardinals sit on it, I think Kyler Murray's going to be – I think he's going to go play baseball. I really think he is.
If you listen to Wire to Wire, I've said that in February when we give our bold predictions. I said 3 things. I said Kyler Murray will not start the season as an Arizona Cardinal. I said 2 quarterbacks will go in the top 10 picks of this draft.
Mm-hmm.
And I said Trey Lance will get MVP votes.
Yeah. There's some teams that I think should trade for him if they really – I don't know what their cap situation's like. It might be hell now, but like the Falcons would be a team that I think would be a good home for him. But their cap situation's got to be all screwed up because of the Matt Ryan trade. I don't know what it's like. So the thing is about these trades is you're going to have to get – that makes them difficult is you're going to have to give up draft capital and you're going to have to pay buku dollars.
Correct and correct.
So the problem is you're all in at that point, 100%, and you better damn well make sure it's good because if you don't, especially with the Kyler Murray one, because he's going to cost more money, you ain't getting out of that. So and you're not going to get a team friendly deal. So the Eskin's usually pretty right on what the Eagles do.
Eskin,
yeah,
don't bring that jamoke up here.
But he's usually got a good ear to the organization, and he thinks the Eagles aren't interested. But we'll see.
That guy made one of the worst reporting moves I've ever seen in my entire life last year.
Which one was it? I mean, there's probably more than one.
No. I remember watching it. There's this guy on Twitter that had like 14 followers, maybe more than 100 followers, and he posted a trade from the Chicago Bears to the Eagles for Wentz a couple years ago. And it was Nick Foles, Tariq Cohen, and
I remember that.
So Natalie Eganoff actually took that and ran with it and reported it as if it was her rumors, that she knew about those rumors.
Mm-hmm.
Howard Eskin reported it again and said his sources said, that is correct and that, blah, blah, blah. And like,
he snaked it.
Yeah. And it was proven to be
pretty
a troll on Twitter that tagged the Chicago beat writer as a source, and the beat writer was like, I've never said this. This is not accurate. This is not me.
Oh, so he had a boomer moment, and he thought that was a quote, and it was a tag.
Yeah.
I could totally see that happening to him.
It was just really bad.
Yeah, he's had some moments, but listen, Eagles.
I exposed it on Wire to Wire. I put the whole thing up on the screen.
He's had his moments. His Iverson moment. There was another. He's had a lot of moments, but they gave him a fucking Super Bowl ring. So, I mean, I think as far as what they're gonna do, I think he's got a good ear for it. I don't know. I don't see the Eagles doing it, but it's worth looking into. I'm on the side of no on that one. I think you're on the side of yeah. I mean, what do you give up for him? 3 first-round picks?
No, I don't. I'm not on the side of yeah for Kyler. I'm not on the side of
you're
yeah
not?
for either
I
one.
know you're a fan of the talent.
I love the talent. We don't have the organization or the stability to be able to make Kyler Murray into our franchise quarterback.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, I just don't. I don't see it being a good fit.
My best fit for us would be Bryce Young next year.
Yeah, I got to look at him more. I want to see.
He's a stud, man. He's a stud.
I want to see him play next year. I'm going to watch these quarterbacks next year because they're going to.
You promise?
Yeah, I promise.
You'll watch some college football?
I'll watch some college football. I'll bet on it, I guess. That will make me watch it for sure. But, I mean, college football. Oh, the total over 72. And, some of these fucking games, man, they're crazy.
Dude, you don't have to watch all the games. Just watch the important ones.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch Georgia beat up on Georgia State.
Yeah.
But Georgia-Bama, you should be watching it.
Or Ohio State versus Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, that's my point. You don't need to see that. Just watch the games that matter.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on those guys because next year is supposed to be quarterback heavy draft, and it looks like
it's not that quarterback heavy. There's 2 really good ones. That's it.
Well, more so than this year, they're saying, right?
100% because there's no first round talent this year.
But they will be picked in the first round.
Yeah, but there's no first round talent.
How many quarterbacks go in the first round?
3.
I think you could get 4.
Malik Willis, Matt Corral, and Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. Okay.
And Sam Howell could go in the first round. I think he'll go in the second.
There's another guy too. What about you said Matt Corral? There's another guy. Oh man, no, that guy from Nevada is not that good actually.
Carson Strong.
Yeah, he's not that.
Also,
good.
Desmond Ritter from Cincinnati.
That's the one, Desmond Ritter.
He could go in the first round. People are enamored with his talent. I've watched him play. He's terrible. I'm telling you, he's never had a good game versus a good defense ever. Period.
Yeah.
Ever.
And
but he can throw the ball really well on the run.
And he was in a conference that wasn't.
He played for Cincinnati. He played for the AAC.
Yeah, not particularly strong.
Yeah, not particularly strong.
Yeah, and they got. I mean, they had a lot of talent on the team, but they got smoked in the playoffs.
They really didn't get blown out as bad as people think they did. But I'll tell you right now, Desmond Ritter did not show up for that game.
Right.
He did not. Sauce Gardner did.
I did see that game.
Kobe Bryant did.
He wasn't memorable at all, Desmond Ritter. I did
watch
that game.
No, he was falling off his friggin' legs and throwing off his back foot and happy feet and scared in the pocket.
Yeah, that's not.
By the way,
sign.
I like this new haircut, man. I look good. I'm looking good.
Who got that for you? Is that
I went to Philly Fades.
Oh, okay.
Love it.
What is it? Floby.
Floby. All right, let's get into our wish list.
All right. I love wishes.
All right, so let's run through it quick because I want to do a couple mock drafts.
Okay.
Do you want me to go first? Or you want to go first?
You go first.
Okay, thank you. So number 10 for me is just I know it's not something that the Eagles will end up doing. I know it's something that's not a need, but I know who the player is. Tyler Linderbaum is the center out of Iowa. Kid is an absolute monster. He could play center, he could play guard for you, and he'll be a 12-year starter in the NFL. So he's my number 10. I have 9 guys I like better than him. Not because I think there's 9 players better than him. I don't. I just think that Tyler's just a stud. My number 9 is Jordan Davis. Once again, not a position in need, but he's a stud. He's unblockable. 347 pounds. The guy just runs like a deer. Very, very good. Once again, not a position in need, but if he's there, if they take him, he's definitely on my wish list. Okay, so I have a bunch of wide receivers on this list because I want the Eagles to take a wide receiver. The fifth wide receiver I have on this list is Drake London out of USC. He is, at worst, he'll be Alshon Jeffrey in his prime. At best, he could be Mike Evans.
We'll be talking to Josina Adams, though.
Yes.
Okay.
All time. I'm kidding.
Damn.
Drake London would be my 8. My number 7 would be Chris Olave, wide receiver out of Ohio State. He runs the route tree perfect.
I've heard that about him, but you brought this up to me. Size. What's his size?
He's small.
Like, how
small? 6 foot,
okay.
5'11".
Doesn't have great weight.
No, small. But he has a PhD in route running.
Okay.
My number 6 is Jamison Williams out of Alabama. Jamison Williams could be the number 1 wide receiver in this draft. I would have no problem if he was. Tore his ACL, though. So coming off a torn ACL, it's very, very tough to be my number 1. But he's still up there. He's amazing. Kid cuts on a dime. But when you tear your ACL, cutting is a little bit different. My number 5 is Aiden Hutchinson. Pipe dream. No, we're not going to get him. But if we trade up to get him, I would love that type of leader on our defense as an edge rusher. Mm-hmm. Everyone talks about this draft as edge rushers. They talk about Jermaine Johnson. They talk about Kayvon Thibodeau. They talk about George Karlaftis. They talk about Trayvon Walker. I don't like any of them.
You know
I think
what?
They're all overrated players this year.
I agree with you because to me, there's Aiden Hutchinson and then there's the rest. And I'm not saying these guys aren't going to be good, but that scares the shit out of me is those middling defensive ends that are...
Yeah, if the Eagles take Jermaine Johnson next Thursday, I'll be highly upset.
Yeah, me too.
He's just a tweener defensive end that plays defensive tackle. That's not going to get you a lot of sacks. That's not going to rush the passer well. He's not an edge rusher.
We signed a tweener that's already proven. We don't need another one.
I agree. My number 4, and this is a lot higher than most people have him, is Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson had a tomato can thrown in the football last year. I want
to know where that saying came from, by the way.
I don't think you understand how good his catch radius is. I see Steve Smith all over this guy. Strong, physical, elite receiver that can catch the ball, that's thrown behind him, that's thrown above his head. He just plays way bigger than his size. My number 3 is Treylon Burks. He's basically DK Metcalf. I hate saying, like, it's just a lazy comparison because they're big, fast, strong receivers, but he can't run routes either, and that's the biggest knock on him, and that's why people didn't draft DK Metcalf. He's not great at route running tree, but, man, when you have that type of talent, I'll work with that. You know what I mean? Like, he's just talent heavy.
I heard that project bullshit before, and now we're all wishing that they took the project, right?
Correct.
I'll
trade J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, who is the more polished receiver, for DK Metcalf. Do you think Seattle will do that straight up? No, I don't. My number 2 is Nakobe Dean. You want a captain of your defense? You want a guy that knows the game of football, that was going to put... See, the biggest problem that people don't get about Nakobe Dean is it's not him. It's the 10 other guys that are around him that he puts in the right position, that he leads. It's all right. So, like, let's just say he's not as rated as highly as a Devin Lloyd as far as talent. Let's say he's a 91, Devin Lloyd's a 93 on a scout rating out of 100. If he's a 91 and he makes everybody else 1 or 2 ticks better, who's more valuable? He makes everyone else around him a tick or 2 better.
Yeah, and I don't want... So
he's a leader, man. The guy, he will not settle for half-ass defense. And if you're in the wrong... like I said, a 3rd and goal play, and I bring this play up so often, they stopped the play. The guy dropped the ball for Alabama. And the whole Georgia team was celebrating, and the Kobe Dean turned right to his linebacker that basically was out of position, was like, you have to be over there. We got lucky there. You cannot allow that to happen. That's where his head was. His head wasn't, great, we get off the field, we made the stop or celebrate. His head was, this needs to be done right because this could come up again, and I need you. Number 1 is Kyle Hamilton. And I'm a big Brian Dawkins fan, right? This is the closest thing you're going to find to Brian Dawkins. He is literally, and he would be so beloved in this city. He'd be the 8th man in a box to stop the run. He would stop receivers from going across the middle because they'd be scared of. He's Sean Taylor, Brian Dawkins, Cam Chancellor all rolled into one. This kid's a Hall of Famer. I really feel that way. And I think that it's an absolute joke that they have him sliding as low as 11. I'll tell you right now, he's a guy that I'd have no problem with them trading up for. And I hate the fact of trading up. I want 2 first-round picks. I want 2 of these studs. Mm-hmm. I don't want 1. I want 2.
Ray Didinger did a piece, I think, a day ago, and he says he thinks the Eagles will trade up. That's what he says. He said if a top defender, I know this makes you want to throw up, he named Jeremiah Johnson, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Kyle Hamilton.
Kayvon Thibodeau, the difference with him is he's not on my wish list. I want to talk about him for 1 second. He's ultra talented, and he'll get after the quarterback. He will be fine for your defense. There'd be no issues for him playing for your defense. The problem is he's not a leader. He reminds me so much of Jadeveon Clowney.
I don't. It makes me want to throw up.
Why? Jadeveon Clowney had very productive seasons.
He did, but I mean, I feel like he was a mercenary that was on team to team, and I feel like for the hype that he came in with,
no one cared about keeping him on the team. And that's what Kayvon Thibodeau is. Kayvon Thibodeau did an interview at ESPN and talked about everything but football, and he got trashed for it.
Yeah, I mean, those interviews, you could tell a lot by him.
Yes.
There's an interview that I saw, and people might have thought this guy wasn't good for other reasons before he played it down. I saw Sam Darnold interviewing before he got drafted, and I was like, this guy does not seem like he's really that. He didn't come off intelligent. He came off kind of like, oh, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, football's great. I wasn't impressed by him at all. And,
fair statement.
And it played out that way. I mean, even that night that he had that one good game last year where they had him on Thursday Night Football and he was on, I was like, this guy's fucking vanilla ice cream. I don't know what else to say. He just wasn't there. And the thing about that is, I felt like Jadeveon Clowney could have been better than he was with the talent he had. And, Dan Campbell, they were saying he doesn't want him because he doesn't like him. I'm pretty sure that's what I was reading out of the Lions camp, right? Like, because some people take him as high as top 2 pick, right? Thibodeau. Like, I see him as high. Dan Campbell wants no parts of him. Not that I live by what Dan Campbell says, but there's one guy in the league that's like, you're not going to take a play off. It's Dan Campbell. You know what I mean?
And Thibodeau does.
Yeah, and I can't do guys like that, man. I can't. I just can't.
I get it.
You just not as much as you have to spend on these guys.
All right, let's get into your 10.
Yeah,
I want to hear your wish list.
I got my list. Thank God I have my iPad because my computer died on me. But I thank God for Google Docs. So, my list is wish list for the Eagles. lot of it's going to be a pipe. Some are going to be pipe dreams. Some are players that I think they can get. So 10 for me. I don't think I'll follow Sauce Gardner. I'd be okay with the Eagles getting him. I'm not going to lie. I just like his name. No, I'm just saying. I mean, I want a quarterback that's good, and you could call him Sauce. I mean, that's pretty cool. But, I mean, I did get to see some Cincinnati because, they were in the playoffs, and they were a team that were talked about a lot because they did have a good season overall, in their Final Four. They didn't fare too well, but a lot of controversy around them because of the division they came from, right? So, and people were right because as soon as they got into the playoffs, they didn't get smoked, but they lost. I mean, they weren't able to hang with that quarterback, not with their quarterback they had. So he's number 10. We got Darius Slay. Could we use another cornerback? Yeah, but he's number 10. I like Kenneth Walker, number 9. I think the Eagles, if they're gonna, you got to run the ball, and I want to see them. I'm not a long-term believer in Miles Sanders. I think most people aren't. And Kenneth Walker he could run the rock. I mean, I've watched him highlight films, did some research on him. And from what it seems, this guy is a very good runner of the football. He breaks tackles. I mean, he's a bruiser from what I understand, right?
He's a jack of all trades.
Right. Okay. So he could catch the ball too.
Yes.
Which is good for the Eagles. Because Miles Sanders is fucking hands of stone. I mean, I've never seen someone have so much goddamn trouble with a screen pass in my life. It blows my mind still. Breece Hall, I like your comparison.
Like Breece better.
Yeah. I like your comparison last night. I didn't think about that. That was the guy you had on your show.
Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah, MJD. I mean, that's not a bad draft pick. MJD
no,
was
not at all.
Yeah, so I mean, and if you're gonna run the ball, that's a guy that I like. So I take him a little bit higher than that because Kenneth Walker is jack of all trades, but you still got the kid out of Memphis that you drafted, and I still think he has some development to go through.
Mike wants to know what the Eagles' track record is on first-round picks. Not very good.
Yeah.
I've been very loud about this.
Not good at all.
I like the picture though.
Yeah. That's funny. No, it hasn't been good on the first-round picks. I mean, they've gotten some good late picks. I mean,
Sorry, we're going to GM the Eagles tonight. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Our mock draft's coming soon.
It is. Number 7 is Drake London. I want a receiver that has some size to him. And Drake London has some size to him. The receivers I like have some size to him, and I think we need a guy that can high point a ball and Drake London could do that. And why? Because you don't have an accurate quarterback, right? So we need a guy that can make some plays, a guy that could contest the catch, a guy that can, box out for the ball, so to speak. That's what we need as far as a receiver goes. I like Olave. I told you I like his route running, and I think the Packers will end up with him, in my opinion. But I don't know if we could take advantage of that guy right now. And I think Devontae Smith has the ability to run more routes. I just don't think the offense lends it, and I don't think Jalen Hurts' ability lends to him being able to show.
I know, but you can't draft this year as if that Jalen Hurts will be.
That's true, but I still think Devontae Smith can do a lot more than he's shown.
Let's just say they took Olave, and then next year they had Bryce Young as their quarterback, and he fits perfectly to Olave and Devontae Smith.
I won't be mad at it.
That's my point. So
but
I'm taking it based off what I see for the next 4 or 5 years. The Eagles aren't winning.
This isn't what Santa. I'm telling Santa I want. Eagle Santa. That's not what I want right now. So
okay. Who's next?
Devin Lloyd. I like. I want a linebacker. Will the Eagles break the streak? Will they break the curse of Jerry Robinson, 1979? I don't know. I think just because if the Eagles draft any linebacker in the first round, they might just be happy just because it's been so long. But I talked to Gene about this, and he watched a lot of college football, and he seems like he needs to be in the right defense, and he seems more of a 3-4 linebacker. You think he'd be 4-3?
I think he'd be either linebacker in the right system.
Right.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you'd be real scared if the Patriots take Devin Lloyd. You should be.
Which is a 3-4 system, right?
It doesn't matter what system.
It's well, they'll play.
Bill Belichick will
do any
will put him in the right spot.
Yeah.
He needs that type of defense.
I could see. Yeah, and I know people forget this a lot, but Bill Parcells gets a lot of credit, but Bill Belichick did a lot of work with Lawrence Taylor. Just got to put it that way.
Fair.
Which is probably, you can argue Ray Lewis, but at least he's top 2 best linebacker in football ever. Changed the game. My number 5 is Treylon Burks. I've been all over this guy. Gene put me on him, looking at him, watching some game film, looking at this guy's size, big receiver. He's got speed, can break some tackles, yards after the catch. I could just see this guy being in this offense and taking a 5-yard in to the house. I guess a good comparison. He's not as tall, I think. Maybe A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, maybe Deebo Samuel. A.J. Brown.
No, it's Deebo, no. A.J. Brown, DK, yes.
Yeah. So, again, that's on my wish list. Position wish list, receivers second or third, really, because I really think we need the defense is rich in the first round.
Okay.
And I think maybe we can get a Deshaun, a Watson later on, or a Deshaun Watson. What's this guy? Not Dotson.
Oh, Josh Dotson.
Yeah, Josh Dotson. I mean, so there's a lot of receivers, I think, in this draft. And I think, this brings me to my 4, Kobe Dean. Remember, this is a wish list. This is who I want the Eagles to get around that pick, and I think he should be available. I like the intangibles. I've seen him play because of the, college football playoffs. I've seen a couple games because, Georgia, Alabama is a big game. So I've actually watched that team. And I got to tell you, man, I was really impressed with him. And people talk about how smart of a player he is. And I want a player that's smart on defense that is going to be your captain of your defense. And we talked about this. The Eagles, they don't really have a captain of the defense, right?
They don't.
They're a rudderless ship. You could bring me in a guy that's a blue chip, first-round talent linebacker that can also captain your defense. I mean, look what Micah Parsons did for the Dallas Cowboys last year. I mean, they didn't really do a lot, but I mean, he was pretty damn good, right? I mean,
agreed.
So, which brings me to Jordan Davis. I want Jordan Davis because I think he is a game plan wrecker. The guy, if he's there, he keeps moving up the draft board. I could just so see the Ravens taking him at 14. He just seems like a Ravens type of player. I could see the Baltimore Ravens taking him. Yeah, and I could just totally see them doing that. He's my number 3. He's a freak of nature.
So I'm guessing Kyle Hamilton's one of the top 2.
Yes.
Who's your number 2?
Aiden Hutchinson. I mean,
okay. So Aiden Hutchinson, Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, because Aiden Hutchinson fits into that. Everybody's
Leadership,
going.
Yeah.
He fits into that. I feel like he can have an impact like a Joey Bosa or a Nick Bosa, right? And that's what everybody's reaching for. That's why you hear all these defensive ends. People are going after him. They're hoping they find that. But Aiden Hutchinson's surefire the closest to having that type of impact. And you saw what it did for the 49ers. I mean, they're game wreckers. And you're going to see it even more with the Chargers this year with a DN like that now that with the trades and the moves they made. So Kyle Hamilton, though, is number 1 on my wish list. And I know this sounds crazy, but I'm looking at Tom McShay's mock draft, and if Tom McShay knows what he's talking about, he's saying Redskins at 11. I think, based off what Ray Dininger said, you have a chip that we talked about. I don't know if, maybe the Jets want him. They say the Jets want a receiver. Tom McShay says they take Drake London. They were trying to go after a receiver. They don't think Elijah McGuire is the only guy. Can you move up to 10? Does he fall that high?
It's Elijah Moore. Second of
Elijah
all, it's
Moore.
the Washington
That was
Commanders.
a running back they used to have.
The Washington Commanders.
Yeah, the Commanders. I could see the Eagles training up above them. I mean, what's the price going to be? But if he falls that far, I mean, realistically, I don't think he should. I think the Falcons should take him. He could get the 9. He could get the 10. You know what I mean? Did the Seahawks take him? They got Jamal Adams.
No.
So, I mean, if you could trade up to 10, that's number 1 on my wish list for the Eagles. You got to do it. And I'm a little excited here because, the prof, Ray Diddy, Hall of Fame sports writer, been following the Eagles for years, he thinks they could trade up. And I think, can you package Andre Dillard to a team like that? You swap first-round picks and give him a second round? I think it's possible. I mean, why not?
I wouldn't. I don't think that's impossible. Mike, do me a favor. I want to try something. You throw up the Pro Football Network mock draft, the thing that we want to do, and I want to try something. So just select all the teams. Select all. There's a button right there. There you go. 1 round. Let's draft. So we're going to pick where we think they're going to go. Where do you think Jacksonville goes? Pick one.
You got to go Aiden Hutchinson if you're not.
I think they go Evan Neal.
You think you're going to go Evan Neal?
I think they're going to offensive lineman. Protect him.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I read an article that they want to go Hutchinson, but Doug Peterson is pushing for all defensive player to be the first pick.
Give me Evan Neal for one. Doesn't matter. We're just going to see how.
You think you're going to pass on Hutchinson? Wow.
Yes, I think Hutchinson goes to Detroit with Dan Campbell. And
if he's there, they're taking him. There's no doubt about that.
So go Aiden Hutchinson too. This doesn't matter for the Eagles. I just want to just go through it the way I think it'll go and see what's available for the Eagles.
There's a couple wild cards in here though that can push Kyle Hamilton down.
100%. So the Texans are up. The Texans are looking at a couple players. Most of them being offensive line. I think that they'll go Ike Ekwonu.
Okay.
Ikem Ekwonu.
How much input do you think Lovie Smith has at this team right now?
A lot.
A lot. I mean, he is a defensive coach that did do a cover two, and cover twos do love hard hitting safeties, cover two systems. I could see a Kyle Hamilton going to the Texans as a possible suitor.
Trayvon Walker is going to go for.
Do you think Jets go Trayvon?
Yeah, I think that Robert Saleh is going to want him in a corner with his second pick. I think a corner will go to their second pick. I just want to see what's available. The Giants are definitely going O-line here. Give him Charles Cross. He's an animal, by the way. Filthy. I think the Carolina Panthers are going quarterback. I want you to pick. Do you think they go Malik Willis or do you think they go down to Kenny Pickett?
I think they go Kenny Pickett because I think
scroll down for that one on the right side.
And the reason is Malik Willis might be a better long-term answer, but I don't know if Matt Rule has a 2 to 3 year leash to develop Malik Willis. So I think Kenny Pickett is a little bit more pro ready, even though I'm not saying he's going to be great. I'm just saying there's going to be some reaching for quarterback here. And if I were them, I'd be going for Baker Mayfield to make a different pick there, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So,
okay, so this is the fun one. The Giants here are either going to go with Kayvon Thibodeau or Kyle Hamilton. I'll let you pick.
Oh, fuck me. See, this, I don't want to see him on another fucking team in a division.
100%. That's what you're doing. You could pick, though.
I mean, how do you not take Kyle Hamilton if you're that?
Kyle Hamilton.
I mean, but wait. Let's. Yeah, I mean,
he did it. I'm not letting you. I'm not. We don't have time for that.
Thibodeau is. I mean, I don't.
Garrett Wilson's going 8. Write it down.
Right.
It's done. If you're at home, just bet it. The Seahawks are up at 9.
I think they're going to go Malik Willis.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Give him Malik Willis. Sauce Gardner will then go to Ahmad Gardner will then go to the Jets.
Yeah.
So Kayvon Thibodeau is dropping really far at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to go 12 to Minnesota, but Washington's up here. What do you think Washington goes with here? They're not going to go to edge rusher. They have Sweat and Chase Young locked up. Where do you think they go here?
I don't.
Derek Stingley Jr.
You think so?
Yes, I do. Very, very confident.
I like that answer because I don't want him to go Jordan Davis.
Derek Stingley Jr. Then give Kayvon Thibodeau to the Vikings. He slips from the 3rd prospect to the 12th pick. He's on top, Kayvon Thibodeau. Texans are up again. I think the Texans now go with Jordan Davis.
Okay.
So I want you to get a realistic look of what happens if the board goes the way I think it'll go. I think the Ravens go with Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa.
Do you think they want to go O-line because they're
Yes.
Now? Why do you think they're going O-line with the tackle?
They just their offensive tackle last year tore his ACL.
Okay.
I think they're looking to get younger at that position and protect.
And they had to
Lamar
trade
Jackson.
Orlando Brown because he.
Correct.
So
here's where you're at. This is what I think is going to be on the board for the Eagles at 15. Now, where do you want to go?
I'm going to Kobe Dean right here.
So you got to scroll down around 29. I've done this a million times.
Crazy.
Yep.
I don't know why he's that low. I don't agree.
It's okay. The Kobe Dean will be our pick, which will be considered a reach by most analysts, and that's fine. We'll go back up to the I think they go.
How he's good at reaching.
I think they go with Matt Corral, quarterback out of Ole Miss, to the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints have to take a quarterback here. That's just why they made this trade.
The Chargers, they don't need an edge rusher. They probably need guard Zion Johnson from Boston College. They could go with Devin Lloyd also. That's a very serviceable pick. Where do you think they go here? They don't need an edge rusher.
I think you got to invest in the offensive line. I mean, you got Herbert there. I mean, if they're got a hold of guard, you got to go with
so
that.
Give him Zion Johnson from Boston College. And this is the last pick we'll make in this round, and then we'll do an Eagles 4 round.
You know where I'm going here. I don't care. They say it's a reach. Traylon Burks, baby.
So that would be really ripped apart in Philadelphia.
Why?
They're going to want Jamison Williams in Philadelphia. It's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Scroll down, and Traylon Burks should be right there, 25. Look at the Eagles reaching on both of their picks. And we're going to restart it, if you don't mind, to just take. No, don't restart because it'll restart with everybody. If you want to exit out and go back in and start over with just the Eagles, we're going to do a 4-rounder. But that is how would you feel with that situation? If they got Burks and Dean draft night.
I'm feeling good. I mean, listen. I don't get too caught up in rankings sometimes, right?
You shouldn't.
They're all over the place. I mean, let's just for a moment, let's think about the receivers that are looking for new contracts. And if you look at that year, and I swear I looked at it, those guys were all outside the first round. And they're all trying to renegotiate new deals because they've all outplayed their contracts.
Okay.
I believe the guys in the first round that year, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
What year?
Wasn't it like 2019?
What year? What position?
Receiver. I don't think.
So your 2019 receivers were, I'm pretty sure that's the Jerry Jeudy year. Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb.
No, Jerry Jeudy was a rookie last year, wasn't he?
Okay, that would have been 20. Then it would be year before.
I'm going to look it up right now. Deebo Samuel draft. And that will all come up. But they were all in the same draft, I believe. I know McLaurin was a third-round pick.
That's not the Justin Jefferson draft?
No, that would have been 2 years. So it might have been, yeah, because it's 4 years, 22. It was 18, I believe.
So it was the DK Metcalf draft.
Yeah, so it's DK Metcalf draft. So you got, yeah, because this is Deebo's fourth year coming up. So that would be the 2022. So then you got 21, 2019.
20, yeah.
I'm looking at it right now, so I'll tell you guys. I mean, he was drafted in 2019. It was 2019 draft.
Yeah.
So 2019 NFL draft. I can tell you right now. My point of bringing that up is that the ranking said something different, and it went completely a different way. So well,
read me out the first round wide receivers.
All right.
Just pull up the 2019 draft.
Got it right now. I've been typing as we're
Got
talking. 2019. Rest in peace. Dwayne Haskins was in that draft.
Okay, just give me the wide receivers.
Got it coming right here.
First one. Who's the first one off the board?
First one off the board. Why is it only going to 20? There we go. Got it. Fucking iPad, man. I got to update this shit. Here we go. All right, so first wide receiver off the board was Marquise Hollywood Brown.
Okay, 24.
25.
I was close.
32 is N'Keal Harry.
And Kill Harry. Yep.
Yeah.
Patriots.
So the next wide receiver was Deebo Samuel at 36.
Okay.
Okay. A.J. Brown at 51, which the Eagles have that pick this year. Then you had McCole Hardman. Had high hope for him, but not panning out. 56. 57 was the best blocker in football, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Stud. 64, which I'm sorry, I would even have took this guy over. At 59, I would even took him over Arcega-Whiteside, but that's not a high bar. Was Paris Campbell. Cardinals took Andy Isabella at 62, and then DK Metcalf was taken at the end of the second round at 64. McLaurin then went. You had Deontay Johnson went at 66 that year. Also a good pick, right? McLaurin went at 76, pick number 76. Jalen Hurd went at pick 67. I mean, I'll mention him, but he hasn't really done shit. So Miles Boykin, who's now a free agent, went at pick 93. So I mean, that proves my point there. Like, look at those guys.
Yeah? No,
look at those guys. Oh, everybody's
I think
like,
the big thing that people need to understand is if you take somebody in the first round, you get the fifth-year option. If you don't take them in the first round, you do not get the fifth-year option.
Right.
So if you want to lock up wide receivers right now, in a world that wide receivers are getting wildly overpaid, you take them in the first round. Yeah. Can you pull it up one more time?
You know who was
Mike?
also taken in the first round that year for the Eagles?
Yes.
Who I think is a trade
Andre
chip.
Dillard.
22. He's
All right, so we're going to do 4 rounds, and we're just going to select the Eagles. Let's draft. I like that. I like that. Just keep that. Like that sound is perfect.
Still blown away by that fucking draft with JJ. God,
I got Malik Willis going 3, Kayvon Thibodeau going 4, Trayvon Walker, Jermaine Johnson, Jordan Davis, Sauce, Cross, Stingley. We're going to decline that. Reject that.
So wait, who took him at 3? The Texans? They had Texans taking him at 3?
Malik Willis, yep. Reject that also, even though it's a lot of picks. All right, so here's where you're looking at here. Can you scroll up right on the left side a little bit? I just want to see where the mock draft had him going. Where do they have Kyle? 8 to, which he won't go to Atlanta. I'm telling you he won't. It's fine. All right, so this situation here, let's do something a little different than we've done. We haven't really done this. We've done the Nakobe Dean, and we can get both of them every time. Let's try something different. Give me a pick here. Jamison Williams, you want to try him?
Yeah. No. At that pick?
Yep, 15. Scroll down a little bit on the right side.
Yeah,
Maybe something else.
And
cool.
my guy's going too, right? Look
Paxton
where
Hill,
Kyle
Drake
Hamilton went.
Yep, 8.
At the fucking Falcon. We were talking about how I thought the Falcons should take him, but
There's no way.
they will. But I think they should.
Who are we going with here? Go something different than we did. No Nakobe Dean, no Treylon Burks.
Who farther up? Yeah, I mean, let's go Jamison Williams. I mean, listen, people say he would have been a top 5 pick this year if he didn't get hurt.
He would have been the top receiver off the board. So let's go Jamison.
Let's go Jamison Williams. Let's make the fans happy.
Okay. So Matt Corral, Kyer Elam. I love that pick. Can we do that? I like that.
So
Can we do that trade?
So what are we getting here
We're getting 32 and 34.
this year?
Yep.
Oh yeah,
It changes a ton of what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I take it.
Accept that. So let's see how Daxton Hill, Olave, Kenny Pickett, Trent McDuffie, Devin Lloyd, Karlaftis, Sign, Booth, Zion. This might turn out really well. Otters Burks.
God damn it.
Let me get my Penn State wide receiver here, though. Yes, we do. Reject.
Wait, is the Dean off the board?
No, I don't know. Nakobe Dean's still there.
You got to take him now, don't
Yeah,
you?
take Nakobe Dean. And then
then you got 34. You can get.
Reject.
You can get. Oh, he's there. Penn State guy's there.
Reject. Where's he at?
Did he get taken? Maybe he's farther down the board.
Can I scroll out a little bit on the right side?
We did take Jamison Williamson. So, I mean, we did take a
I know,
receiver.
I understand. Jahan Dotson's still there. That is unreal.
Now,
Could
they're
you
got
imagine
him
they did it?
47. We still got 51, right?
No, we're not. Go up to the top. We're not going to take Jahan Dotson because we already took Jamison Williams. Look at Tyler Linderbaum falling all the way to 34. That's amazing.
I mean, you can't go, it's not sexy, but you can't go wrong with depth on the O-line. I mean, you just can't.
No. Give me Tyler Linderbaum. That is incredible. Think about that draft. Nakobe Dean, Jamison Williams, and Tyler Linderbaum.
Damn good draft.
Yeah. Carson Strong, early. We're about to come up. George Easy Pickens, Kenneth Walker. Reject that trade offer.
51. No.
Ooh.
I mean, but
I would do that in real life, but I'm not going to do it.
What is
now.
that? Pick round 4?
We go back 3, and then we move up to the 4th round from the 6th. I love that, actually. But reject it. Is he still there?
Yeah, I mean,
Jahan Dotson, you have to take him.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's unbelievable. Your wide receiving core is Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, and Jamison Williams. How does that happen?
I'll be back. I'm gonna go drive Jalen Rager to the airport.
Dude, if this happened, oh my God, I would have a conniption on draft night. You get Nakobe Dean, 2 wide receivers, and an offensive lineman that'll be on your team for the next 20 years. Not 20 years. I'm being sarcastic, but
Listen, I don't see anything bad about that draft.
oh my God, wait till you see what it
Now
looks
that
like.
that trade has to happen.
I know. Reject that. We're gonna pick here. I like Nick Bonita, but we've taken him in previous drafts, so let's stay away from him. Oh my God, Kobe Bryant. That's the guy I've wanted for a long time anyway. Kobe Bryant.
I get so fucked up when I hear his name. I'm like, Kobe. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know, but it's so weird.
Dude, when I see this at the end, this would be like the most ultimate draft I could ever see. Like this is giving me chills. If the Eagles could do this on draft night,
Yeah, that's the thing about this though. This draft is there's going to be some wild cards, I believe, in the first before the Eagles draft. Like there's always now. What helps the draft be more steady is the Raiders when they have a first round pick are always good for a weird pick. They're not there this year. The Texans taking Malik Willis, man.
I could see it. We're up 124.
I want.
Oh, Brian Cook just went. I would have took him in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Brian Cook was still sitting there.
Yeah. What about Kerryon Williams, Notre Dame?
The running back?
Yeah, you like him? You don't
No.
like him?
Stinks.
The guy from
Williams,
Kenneth Walker's gone, obviously.
Jesse Luketa.
What about the guy from Florida? He's kind of no.
Scroll down a little bit on the right side. A little bit more. This is getting a little bit light.
Yeah.
I would take safety JT Woods out of Baylor.
Not bad. I mean,
That's who I would take here. Scroll up to the top one more time before you do it. You almost hit it, and I would have been locked in, but I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. We have a corner already. We got Kobe. Brian Robinson stinks. We don't need another defensive tackle, fringe D tackle.
who's the best player on the board right now, regardless of position?
I like Jesse Luketa, but did we take an edge rusher already? We didn't.
No.
Take Jesse Luketa from Penn State. I want to see the way this looks at the end. It's about to be done. When we did 4 rounds. Let's see when JT Woods actually goes. He might not even go. Love me some JT Woods. I bet he goes to a team that knows how to draft. Brian Robinson went to the Packers. That's not going to happen. Okay, so look at this draft real quick. I almost want to take a picture of this. This is like gold. Jamison Williams, Nakobe Dean, Tyler Linderbaum, Jahan Dotson, Kobe Bryant, and Jesse Luketa.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, does Nakobe Dean fall out far in real life?
He might. He's undersized. He's falling in a lot of mock drafts.
Yeah, but I feel like, all right, I feel like people to an extent haven't adjusted their expectations for the size of the modern day linebacker.
I agree with you. Don't get me. I love Nakobe Dean
because
that. By the way, Mike, I might need a picture of that. I'm kidding. You don't need to take
we're
a picture.
getting more athletic tight ends, right? And you need to have more athletic linebackers for coverage. You got safeties and linebackers are going to be part of that responsibility. You got the running backs.
Well, that's why I keep converting safeties to linebacker. They want athletic linebackers.
Right. And so to me, it's not
exactly what they did with Davion Taylor.
Yeah, linebackers aren't weighing 260 pounds anymore. That's like 1990s football. That doesn't happen anymore. So, I mean, he's 6 foot, right? Nakobe Dean.
I'll give you his exact measurables.
I mean, I heard the same criticism of Hassan Reddick when he was coming out of college.
He's 6 foot 225.
Okay, I heard didn't Hassan Reddick have the same criticism coming out of the draft when he came?
Yeah, but Hassan Reddick's not a middle linebacker.
He's not, but they said he was too small for his position. Did they not?
Correct, because he was an outside 3-4 edge rusher.
And that proved to be wrong.
Correct.
So I mean,
but so he's 6 foot 225. Let me just see something real quick.
I could go through a bunch of guys they said were too small that became. You know who they said was too small for to be a defensive tackle, and he's a Hall of Famer? John Randall, the Minnesota Vikings. I believe they said Zach Thomas wasn't big enough for his position as well. What if I'm hearing that right?
So on draft day, Ray Lewis was 6 foot 235.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? I feel like he's bigger than that just by looking at him, and he's not. By the way he played,
he was 6 foot 235. Can I get my counterfeit green? You don't need to get one. I have one. My counterfeit green is anybody that does not that buys into these pro days, that buys into these 40 times, and doesn't just watch tape, doesn't watch these kids play, real game speed. My counterfeit green is people that don't watch college football, once again, that are just checking highlights and
feel attacked. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
But those people drive me nuts, and I'll say it and say it again.
Mhm.
You have to watch these kids play football. You have to watch games. Watch game film. Don't watch highlights. Highlights can make anyone look good. And don't watch pro days when they're walking around with shorts and a T-shirt on, throwing the ball 60 yards across their body, being like, look what I could do.
Yeah, Malik Willis was this year's Zach Wilson Award winner. So, I mean, I agree 100%. And the thing about pro days is their agent, their job is to be their hype man.
Correct.
To drive up their price in the draft, drive up their position, drive up how much they're making. They're getting a
Are you
percentage
saying
of the
they're
person.
Jerry Maguire?
Yes. 100%.
Show me the money!
And as Eagles fans, and I will be the first to admit that when he was picked, I said, okay, this, not who I wanted. Could it? I didn't know it was going to turn out where Justin Jefferson was going to break Randy Moss's receiving record, but I wasn't against it. I said, okay, maybe it turns out. But the hype that really got him there was his bullshit 40 time that was on Twitter, right? That was part of it. Like, oh, this guy's fast. He's not that fast. He's never shown that speed. It was bullshit. They said he gained weight and he lost weight.
The real hype that he got was he ran the fastest time in college football by hitting 22 miles an hour on a play. It was a punt return, and he had hit like a bubble screen, and he had hit like 22 miles an hour on the field, which was incredible. It was 4.2 speed. Then he bulked up because he wanted to do well in the bench presses, and his 40 time was like a 4.4 something, which
Still
is
not
not
slow.
special. No, it's not special.
It's just not special.
And he goes, "Oh, I just bulked up for the for the weights." And then he ran an unofficial pro day at 4.27 at his own pro day, which is once again
right. That's the one I saw on
exactly.
Twitter. Yeah, and that was a pandemic draft. That was 2020, right?
Yes.
So I said that year, and I actually was talking to my friend about this. Because my one friend's a big draft geek too. We talk football. My friend Bill, and I said to him, I said, I guarantee there's going to be some, and I wasn't as an Eagles fan, I was hoping it wasn't Jalen Reagor. There's going to be some guys that have great pro days that are just going to end up being complete bullshit players because they were depending on pro days a lot more that year because of the pandemic restrictions. And I was like, there's a lot of hype going on right now. And that was one of them. And I think that's still the case. And I agree with you, man. I think you're 100% right. The pro day, because, as a regular casual fan, you'll see the pro day like, oh, yeah, 4-2, it's shoo-in. Not, I was hoping I was being positive about it, but man, that Jalen Reagor pick, man, that just stinks to high heaven. And Howie with his great luck of Justin Jefferson. I mean, when you watch the Vikings war room laugh at that pick,
you knew.
You were like, fuck. You ever hear that? You ever see that clip on TikTok where they're like, fuck? That was going through my head. I was like,
yeah,
fuck, man, they're laughing at us. Why are they laughing? Because they knew. They were probably the whole time sitting in that war room going, oh man, we don't have a shot at Jefferson. The fucking Eagles are going to take him.
They said the Eagles are going to take a receiver here.
Yeah.
And then they said, oh, Reagor? Wait, what? And then they start celebrating.
My fantasy football people, just think about it when that guy in front of you takes the injured player and you're like, yes! that's.
I didn't think he'd fall.
Yeah. I just got Jonathan Taylor at pick 13. Great, Anyway, yeah, I don't really have it. I kind of talked about my counterfeit green earlier, which was Deebo Samuel. Coming to the Eagles, why it's not a good idea. And it's a Madden fever dream. We explored that, and you can't spend 10% of your cap on the receiver.
100%.
Yeah, so it's pretty much. Did we already hit 8:30? We're getting there. Or no,
oh yeah, we're there.
Did we start at 8:30? 7:30?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, that went pretty quick. That was fun.
It's fun. That's what it is.
Yeah. The draft.
It's a good time.
The draft flew. I mean, maybe we gave the Eagles some good juju here.
Hopefully,
and we get that draft because not all the players I wanted, but I agree with Gene. If it played out that way, that one where they got the 2 sec, it was the last first and the yeah. I mean that's a nice deal.
I would have did that in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
this draft is so deep as far as talent,
and that's the thing too. I think these rankings are all over the place. I've seen other people that say Kyle Hamilton's top 3. I see people say Kyle Hamilton at 15, 11. Chris
15. Oh my god.
Yeah,
he fell in your lap.
I really think.
Guys, check the Birds Deep Facebook page. We'll be giving some updates around draft time.
Definitely.
Any final thoughts?
pray to the Eagles gods that Kyle Hamilton falls to, and he's wearing some wings on his helmet, some birds' wings, and Kelly Green this year because that's coming back. So that's pretty much it, guys. We're gonna draft is 7 days away. The ticker is on, and there's going to be a lot of action. There's going to be a lot of fireworks. I think there's going to be a lot of surprises in the draft this year.
I agree.
So trades, you name it. Who knows? Kyler Murray might get traded, and that could just upset the whole draft.
I would love it.
Yeah. So and that plays in the Eagles' favor where they're sitting at. So anyway, with that being said, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening, guys. Me and Gene, thank you for listening as usual. And this is the Godfrey and Gene not saying goodbye, just saying take it birds deep.